Alright guys, welcome back to this Dxun Nim series where I'll be explaining the bosses as far as like timer strats and from a DPS perspective for the most part. I'll explain other mechanics as well as we go, but I'll probably be doing like a tank or healing one in the future. Um, but right now we're going to continue to focus on DPS, right? So as we continue right here, you can see there is a book and there is stems, right? So I'm not going to pick up any of these stems. I'm running Madness Sork, but gaming right here, which is Quiak, he's going to be picking it up because he's running Refraction Point on Sniper. And what these stems do, if you stim yourself once, it's like, movement speed and like, immune to controlling effects and stuff like that. You stim yourself twice, it's like you do extra damage and like crit and everything. Like it's pretty ridiculous and everything. Pretty sure there's a defensive capability to it as well because tanks use them on the Apex. You stim yourself 3 times, you die immediately. So just be very careful. But since uh, we're only going to be able to pick up 2 of these for the DPS, the other 2 are used for something else, Quiak or the sniper is going to get this. I won't really benefit too much from it. Okay, so something else that I missed is not necessarily meta classes, but classes that benefit more from the stims than others. Classes like Sniper, like Hatred Sin, Vengeance Jug, or even Rage Jug. It's really gonna be like whatever class that you're best with that is gonna cleave and do the most damage. Those are the easiest ones. Um, PT's not so bad either, but the stronger ones are definitely, Jugsin and Sniper. But, if you have somebody that's really good at lightning or really good at, something else, and they can do it, by all means. Yeah, back to the video. These books, this is the first of I think 4 books that you need to pick up. It's better to do the books thing in story mode. But if you're doing it in your run, so be it. There might be some that you're not able to get though. Um, so yep, the book if you need it. Stem. Oops, too far. Okay, so just kill, cleave these, move on, all that good stuff. And then right here, so a difference between the other modes and Nightmare is this guy is gonna be uh, periodically attacking you, and he's gonna pick a random person. They're gonna have a debuff and everything. You can dot him right now. It's not like the biggest, DPS increase or whatever, but it's something, right? So Pretzel's got it. You can see it with the arrows, the arrow, yellow arrow he has over his head. But I'll go over the typical spots people normally take them. If you're slow, people will take it right here before this tree, like just in like this area. Sometimes people take them right here, but if you can run all the way over here and you can tag the bull with it. Watch the bull's health. See how much of the bull's health went down because of the pursuit droid? So that area right there hits everybody, including the enemies, right? Um, and so now the bull is, lost a chunk of health. We push and all the other good stuff, right? So these birds, you see those little yellow circles? There's a couple things you can use them for. If you get 1 stack of the dot that they drop in that little circle, you'll be periodically taking damage, right? What this means for power techs and marauders, they can keep up their thermal yield. They can keep up their cloak of pain and stuff like that. If you have a jug tank and they're guarding somebody and that person has the dot on them, their rule of 2 will speed them up so they're not so slow. Um, so that's really helpful. There's other uses as well, and I will go over those as we get to them. So another normal spot that people take the droid is like around this area right here. But since we're moving kind of fast, we're passing this area. There's going to be another bull up here. And so now this is the buff you'll have if you're going to have the droid. You run away so you don't cleave everybody. Unless you're trying to clip a bull with it. And there, even with static barrier as a sork, I'm made of paper mache, so I take a heavy hit. The droid has this little aura around him. This is a flare, essentially. What the flares do is they reduce the amount of damage that the ads do, and for certain enemies, it makes it to where they can't jump because you'll be running into certain enemies. Like these stalkers aren't gonna jump or anything like that. Um, yeah, but so another thing you can do is this warden droid. If we still have the birds or whatever, we can kill the birds on top of him, and he'll get a stacking debuff from the birds, and just it'll deal a lot of damage to him. It's really helpful for later droids that we have to deal with. The typical locations for this droid that's about to come is either right there, close to the door, or right behind me. Um, see if I can get you a better angle. Yeah, okay, Quiak's going that way. Yeah, right there. That's a good spot. Um, go over here, push him, stack him so you can cleave. And so now these circles, right? I don't know if any of them got on the droid. Looks like they did. No, they didn't. And so the timing for this right here, right? You don't if it's been a while since the droid has come, wait for the next droid. But since we just killed the droid and it's got 38 seconds until that droid comes again, we're gonna hit this, and this is where the stims for the DPS come into effect, right? We get a bull and two reapers and then some hunters, right? So these circles right here are the circles dropped from those birds, and they're gonna help kill pretty much everything here. See right here, there's two stacks that looks like scorch. Those are from the birds. They stack on pretty much everything that was in that area, right? And so Quiak right here, you can see him going nuts with a refraction point, and just like watch his DPS like go nuts. So the droid will be coming here soon. You see the arrow. You drop a flare here so the hunters and the reapers don't jump and go invisible and stuff because they deal a lot of damage. So you need to pop a flare here. We push this thing down to 90%, 90 or 89. Same thing. Yeah, 89. And so these walkers are other things that jump from stealth, or they just jump around. The hunters, which are the little smaller dog looking ones, those jump too. Usually people will pop a flare right here. Yep. And we'll wait, pretty much until we get. So up here, you can see on the other side there's ads spawning, right? If we wait here, there's a higher chance of them being bird spawns, which is what they're trying to do here, which is why we didn't go inside. Because we go inside, we force a spawn, and sometimes it's just the hunters and stuff like that, right? But if we wait, let them spawn, we'll do this right here, and by the time the droid is about to spawn, that'll be the time to walk in. So I get it again, and you can see all the birds over here dying on top of the droid. That's a really heavy dot that's going to be on the droid now. Okay, and then you can see it's stacked up to 4, right? And it's like its health is dropping really fast. Of course, we're hitting it too, but every little bit helps, right? Okay, and so after that droid dies, one of the healers usually will run across over here and go do the point and click adventure, and everyone else will just stay here and kill stuff. Especially because that droid is still spawning.
Listen carefully. Find a backup generator control terminal.
If we're really ahead on DPS like we are right now, we'll do this. We'll do this droid and then run inside, just to make it slightly faster.
Now, cut the third wire.
But it looks like we're just sitting here waiting, trying to pad DPS.
Fast, go to the shield control console. Shut down the beepens and hold on to something.
Alert. Power overload. BC-10 secondary generator.
That's really it for this encounter. I'm gonna go ahead and go through this encounter too because it's just kind of, there's no reason not to. Okay, so here, okay, so there's a couple locations for this book, right? It can either be like right here, it can be back here in this corner, it can be back there in that corner. It's some usually somewhere in this room. The locations are not static. That first one is like, I've seen it like 99% of the time there, but it's either going to be in that room with the first one, and this is where the second one is going to be, in this room. So there's a couple of different strats here that that we can do, right? But regardless of what strat you use, everybody grabs one stem.
What does any of this mean?
Sorry. You'll have to take cover while the coils are on, and run when they're not. Great. Stop and go it is. Ground team, head to the lake enclosure and make for the breach in the walkway.
And as you can see, our guy finally reconnected, and it's no longer, no longer 7 people. We have our full team now. Okay, they're clicking. So here's a couple of strategies, right? There's the strategy of using predation and running all the way across and skipping all of these things and letting them fight. Or there's killing everything. AFK likes to kill everything. So in this strategy, instead of following the wall, not pressing any buttons, we pop a flare here and we kill everything. If you can help it, try not to kill any of the birds that spawn. I'll have a separate video on Delicious on, how to do that. But yep. So we sit here, kill all the things. Okay, and so right here, these birds, if you keep them alive, it'll help you out. Like, you can kill the stalkers for sure, but trying to keep the birds alive is, you don't have to, right? But it helps. It helps later. But we said fuck it, killed everything. While the power is coming back online, if you walk out, you'll get electrified. If you stay in that little pathing right there, you can jump up there and do all that stuff. But if you mess it up, you're going to get hit really hard. I just don't think it's worth it. So I just wait. We're going to run over here. And so I should point this out. In this section up here, okay, this section of the minimap, you see what I'm looking at on the top right? That's where your third book is going to be. Right there. And then I'll show you the fourth one. You're going to have to get to it from out here, but I can't really show you right now because we didn't go that direction. Yeah, you only run. Oh, yeah, I didn't go over it. So this part right here, I guess I didn't really go over it. We have 2 hunters and a lake crab. So we're able to cleave and kill everything. They even popped a flare here, right? If you have the birds with you, we do something else. Like since I'm running a Sork, I would overload them to keep them like snared and stunned over there type thing. And then, we're just watching for this to say offline, right? And so you saw the stealth scan from one of the PTs. Lost power and move on, right? When you're doing delicious, it's a little bit different. I'll have another video for that. But so right here, lost power. So you run, and about this area right here, you target yourself and hit your stim. This is the movement speed and immune to physics type thing. So they can't pull you and they can't knock you down because you have crabs in the water that are trying to pull you into the water and kill you.
Quickly, get everyone in and close the walkway door.
And Pretzel is doing the clicky thing. Also, something I forgot to touch on as well, because sometimes it gets chaotic when you're running in here. Whenever you go to click this, you can just zoom in as much as possible, pretty much like, first person view, because sometimes you'll have a bunch of monsters like right here, and it's hard to click on this while um, they're all right behind you. So like zoom in all the way to click it if you need to. If not, so be it. But that's something that we do to make it a little bit easier. Sorry for missing that, but yep, back to the video. Whoever is outside of the door when it closes dies immediately. And so here, if you have the birds with you, you can kill them on top of the Warden Enforcer droids. And even though they're green and you can't hit them right now, they'll still take that stacking dot damage, and it'll make them, die really quickly. So there's two different ways you can do this, right? You can do what AFK does and kill these things one by one. Um, this is this area over there where I was walking towards is going to be where we're sitting for the most part as DPS. Yeah, in this area right here. The fourth book is normally right there on the outside, right? We saw where that blue gate was. It's on that part outside. You're pretty much gonna have to get that after you've already cleared the instance and stuff like that. So, well, cleared this fight at least.
Holding pen's power.
Just hold on. It'll reboot.
So drop a flare so the hunters don't jump around. Kill everything. And then pretty soon here, the droids are gonna activate. Shadow walkers, they disappear or they jump away and stuff. And you see that little cast? They cast dismemberment. That's a long stun that does damage. So either way, the tanks, they separate these droids, right? And so, but what AFK does is we kill one and then, kill the other and then just cleave everything, right? The other thing you can do is keep this warden droid over there in that corner and have the Reaper that spawns kill the Enforcer droid with like its cleave. But we just do that. We make sure this Reaper dies, and then here comes the Sanitizer droid. See, like right there, what he's doing, letting the Reaper cleave the Enforcer droid, and he's just holding both of them. You have to cycle defensives because the Reaper's hitting really hard. There's no flare and all that good stuff. But Guzor knows what he's doing. But now we go to kill this thing, and now he's gonna bring the Reaper over here. Gaming died because he got cleaved. And so now the Sanitizer droid, is getting ready to, do his little thing. Okay, and so I didn't really explain well what the Sanitizer does. He puts out the cleaning solution or whatever, and the more stacks of that solution that you get, the more damage his sanitizing fire cleave does. You just need to not get clipped by it. It does more damage to the ads and stuff like that, but it also does more damage to you as well. So try not to get cleaved by his both his cleaning solution and his sanitizing fire. We just cleave and kill everything. Yeah, you want to keep a flare out there as much as possible. But while the is it the sanitizer? No, I don't think the sanitizer has a flare attached to it. No, the other guy does. But yeah, so they pop flares to keep the reapers and hunters from doing crazy shit. Like that little channel he was doing right there, he goes invisible and just jumps on somebody and does a lot of damage. And that's really it. There's not really there's not really too much to those encounters. Um, as you can see, cleaving, DPS is you know, really, really nice and everything like that. But it's not hard. None of this stuff is like super difficult. Yeah, well, that'll wrap up these two encounters, and the next video I'll put out for this raid will be on Trandos and the walk up to it. If y'all have any questions or feel like I missed anything, feel free to say so in the comments and let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.